So what we have to understand is that the European Union was set up by the elite for the elite, basically. It wasn't a working class movement to unify Europe. So the drive for European Union and European integration has always been dominated by the elites of Europe. So big business leaders, political leaders, people of major institutions, scientific institutions, all types of government institutions, agricultural, the farming industry, the fisheries. These are the people, the military, well, maybe not so much the military, but the other institutions have been driving the integration. So therefore, it's been led by what you could call the elite or the wealthier people in Europe. The working class have always been skeptical about the European Union because they're worried about what is in it for me, basically. And what I would argue is the reason that Brexit has happened is predominantly because the white working class haven't seen the full benefit of European integration. They feel that they're not getting the share of the pie. So therefore they feel, why am I paying into this club and I'm not getting all the benefits from it? But there's confusion in that because rather than just see that the European Union hasn't worked for many of the working class in Europe, massive unemployment, well, most of Europe's got high unemployment. Britain hasn't got so much high unemployment because it's got a more liberal economy, but we're underemployed in Britain, which means that lots of people are employed, but they're underemployed. So they've got jobs, but they can't afford, that doesn't mean you've got a good standard of living. So we're in Europe, you're unemployed, but if you're unemployed in Europe, your benefit system is better. So you've got more affordable housing, more affordable other public services, and the public services in Europe are generally better. So when you're unemployed in Europe, you're not as poor as in England. But when you're employed in England, which is more likely you got a job in England than you got in Europe, but a lot of the pay is quite low. And because public services are not that fantastic, like housing and things are so expensive, people are underemployed in Britain. So you're working, but you're struggling. So a lot of people in Britain are just about managing. So when the Brexit vote came about, and we got to look back, there's been a long, long campaign in Britain to leave the European Union. So when Labour took us into the European Union, they took the country into the European Union, there was a ballot, there was a vote, people voted to join. And they were given, it was establishment argument. So for example, Tony Benn, people like Tony Benn, who was a very distinguished MP, he was very sceptical about the European Union. And the left in this country, the left who predominantly represent the working class, has always been sceptical about the European Union. Tony Benn admitted in his diaries, he was told that Ford came to him as a minister and said, if you don't join the European Union, we're going to pull our factories out. So the British Labour government basically realised that basically if they don't join the European Union, or just like the Conservatives did as well, if they don't join the European Union, basically it looks like a lot of the big business, because people think Ford is British, Ford was American, just like General Motors, Vauxhall is not British, it's American. They said they're going to pull all their plants out if you don't join the European Union because they had the benefits of the unity across Europe. So they could pull their plants out, move them to Spain, to France, to wherever. So the British government felt that they were really in a difficult position not to join the European Union. And also you've got to remember in the 1950s and 1960s, Britain was heavily industrialised. It's not like now, where if Ford pulled out, it wouldn't make maybe that much difference. But if major industry pulled out in the 1960s, that was basically where most working class people were working. Most working class people worked in a factory of some sort, whether it was in the textiles, in steel, in car making, whatever you name it, they were basically in factories. So if all of those people pulled out, that means there'll be massive unemployment across Britain. It's not like the service industry we see today. So the economy was different. So politicians felt a bit bounced into it by big business.